It's Tracing Roots, Telling Tales Tuesdays. Genealogy with Donna, episode 61, Migration, Why They Left Everything Behind. So I've been doing a genealogy, it's going to be a 30-day genealogy posts and reels. The reels on Instagram, the posts are on Facebook, also graphics on stories. And give you an opportunity to put into your ChatGPT prompts that will help you start or continue your journey if you are already creating a family tree, if you just want to get started. And if you've got any questions, let me know. Check those out. Again, Facebook and Instagram. Anyway, most people didn't leave home casually. Our ancestors often left behind family, language, community, land, familiar traditions. Migration was rarely easy, still not easy, and often deeply emotional. Many ancestors didn't leave because they wanted adventure. They left because they needed hope. They were hoping for a better tomorrow. Push factors. What forced them to leave? People were often pushed out by poverty, war, famine, religious persecution, political unrest, and lack of opportunity. Sometimes staying felt more dangerous than leaving. Remember, Irish came over because of the famine. Our country started with pilgrims because of the persecution in England. They went to the Netherlands. Most of them stayed 7 years until they could get the Mayflower together, and then they came over on the Mayflower. That's what started all this. Now, there were some people before, I believe Jamestown, but it was a religious persecution. They wanted to choose their own religion. They didn't want it to be state-sponsored. Pull factors. What drew them somewhere new? Ancestors were also pulled towards jobs, land ownership, safety, family connections, freedom, a better future for their children. Some people the husbands came first to see if they could get a job or they could get some land, they could homestead. And then they had the family come over after they had been established. Actually, after they'd been established and they'd been able to save some money to be able to build homes or passage on the ships that could bring them over. Migration was often an act of courage and possibility. Migration changed entire family stories. Perfect example. My grandfather was in Dover, New Hampshire. He knew that his future lay in the oil industry in California. That's why he came to California. We would be on the East Coast. My mother was born here in California. Her brother was born back in Boston. So, we're on the West Coast. We're West Coasters because of my grandfather deciding that his future and his riches, so to speak, would be found here in California. One decision to move could alter generations, new languages, new cultures, new identities, and new opportunities. One journey shaped the lives of everyone who came after. Yeah, he left Boston in 1922. Came to California, came to Los Angeles in 1922. Now, we know that Boston was well established long before 1922, but Los Angeles really wasn't. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what it was like? Lots of orange groves here. We Californians know the history of California. So what was it like? How rural was it? Interesting. I'd love to have a snapshot of that. Understanding migration helps us to understand them. When we study why our ancestors moved, we begin to see their fears, their sacrifices, their resilience, their determination. Real talk. Your family tree exists because someone chose survival over certainty. Now, my grandparents, when they came, my grandmother was born in Portland, Maine, but they both lived in Boston. Definitely packed the car people. And they didn't know anybody here. They had no relatives here. They were the first one of the family to come. Then my grandmother's brother came. Her sister came. Her mother actually came too. In her, gosh, I don't even know how old she would have been, 50 something. I had to do the timeline on that. I have not done the timeline on my great grandmother. But yeah, so they all come out here. They're used to the East Coast. So it's totally different. It's a culture change for them to come out here in the 20s. The 20s was a different culture than the 1900s. So each region has cultural differences that make them unique to that area, but it does take some getting used to for people who are from other locations. So every migration story begins with loss, but it also begins with courage. And I'll tell you, my grandfather was very courageous to be coming out here with no support, no job, no nothing. And I think one of the questions, well, it will be a marathon conversation when he and I meet again, but one of them will be, how did you manage? What did you put in place? Had you talked to anybody here on the West Coast about a job? Had you sent out resumes? What did you do to prep? What did you do to plan? Was there a cost of living difference? Was there transportation differences? I mean, you think about all that. The covered wagon people, they just left. They figured there'd be a better life where they were going. They'd be able to get land, they'd build their cabins, and they'd have a freedom that they didn't have where they were. Who knows? Anyway, that's what genealogy is about, discovering the answers to the questions that we have. Anyway, I hope that this made some sense. If you have any questions or you'd like some resource direction, please let me know. In the meantime, check out my Facebook page and my Instagram to check out what I am posting about genealogy. 30 days worth. Take care. Bye-bye.